one. So we started with you guys. Let me get my shit together. I can find this shit. Yeah. Okay.
With Squarespace, you can do more than just build a website. You can build a business. Personal trainers and private chefs showcase your signature offerings and experiences. Makeup artists and music teachers schedule classes and appointments with ease. And then send weekly newsletters to keep in touch with your loyal customers. Done. Squarespace makes offering your services simple. Get started with offer code SoundCloud for 10% off your website or domain.
Jump.
Okay. So I'm just reviewing and responding to these trans-attracted men. Welcome in. How's it going? I can barely see anything because where I'm at right now is so cloudy and stormy. So
a lot of times RDL, which is why they are seeking out an actual part of the community where some people, for whatever reason, have to work in sex work. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. You know, that's not a bad thing. It's not something that should be looked down on. But the thing is, they have to deal with men who a lot of times RDL, which is why they are seeking out sex work in the wee hours of the night. So I think it's feasible. But it would be difficult for everyone
wee hours of the night.
Of the fact
every
that
day,
the trans community is not like a monolith, but it's not like one kind of person. There's so many different kinds of people in different positions. So it can be a difficult thing to
just
do.
Like.
And you know that sex work thing is kind of what I was. I was kind of getting at that just a little bit, just because it's like when I saw it on social media, I'm like, okay, boycott DL men. Well, who are going to be the clients for all the sex workers? Like, just realistically, these guys are funding a lot of women's lifestyles.
Well,
I think I might have to go against the grain a little bit, because I know we touched on it in an earlier conversation, Chris, but I'm hard pressed to think that even if you did take away DL culture as a whole, there'll still be a place for sex work, because just like, there are still cisgender women who do sex work. Yep. And men do it not because they are being DL, it's just because they want some company and they're willing to pay to play. So although I do agree that probably a bulk of the work that the girls get are from men who just either don't have the time or they don't know. This is the only way they know how to reach out to a trans girl. They only know, okay, well, I know they do that, so that's where I'm gonna meet them at. But then, there are.
That's what I was about to say. Like, I've had literally 14-year-olds come up to me and literally give me a bag of Skittles and was like, "This is all I got." Like, what in the fuck? I'm a grown ass adult, regardless of. It's just so it's nuts, right? Like, you're in a transphobic state or area or whatever city or town, and it's like they literally come up to you, and it's like that's all they know is like prostitution with the trans woman. And it's like, but you have to understand, I don't believe it's like necessarily just the culture. I think that's what men do. I think that's what men have always kind of done with trans women. Always had her on the down low, or like as a concubine, or as the other, or something like that, And it's always been like this, like, okay, that's that, instead of being like, I don't know. What do y'all think? But it's weird. I feel like men have always done that. I feel like men, when it comes to dealing with LGBT or whatever, right? It's like they always enjoyed it and then ran back to the straight community. Like, I'm so straight, y'all. And I feel like when it comes to queer people and trans people, it's like they know they can't do that because they know you live your life like that. So they're like, they try to reach you, and the only thing they know is like prostitution. But not prostitution, but like, because that's what I used to do to girls anyways too. Like, they would literally like just try to come with shit, and that's just lame as fuck. They will try to come with shit. It's like, you don't have to come with anything. Like, the thing about me is, I feel like if you're a guy and you are attracted to a trans woman that you might meet out in public, you get what I'm saying? I just feel like you need to just tell her the truth. Like, me personally, I don't even care. If you tell me the truth, I'd be happy. I'm not one of these girls that need to be dramatic. A lot of girls are dramatic. I ain't gonna lie to you. But I'm not dramatic. So for me, it's like, if you just tell me you're attracted to me and you want to get to know me better, I am perfectly fine with that. I'm okay with that. That's all I really need somebody to say to me. But a lot of these dudes, they come up to me trying to give me shit, or they're just straight chasers. And I had to really like come with that, hold on, like, you a chaser. Because a lot of these guys are just weird. They really are just, it gets to a point where they're just weird as fuck. And you're like, what the fuck? Like, you don't know what to say to these niggas, man. And it's annoying. It's very annoying and creepy. But it's weird because I never felt like somebody was creepy. I guess because I've always been like those type of people. I've been the incel, the creepy, like all the things you can think of. Like one time I followed a woman home when I was a man. When I was in college, my second year of college, I followed a girl back to the girls' dorm, all the way to her dorm and shit, just to see what was gonna happen. And I've been following girls at this point. At this point, probably like the 10th girl I followed, back to her dorm and shit type shit. But this time I wanted to take it further and just see how far I could take it and shit. And so, like, I don't know, like, she opened her door up and then I turned the corner and I'm like walking up to her shit. And she's like, you know, people turned around and was like, what the fuck? Like, you're trying to come to my shit. And I'm just staring at her and she's staring at me. And she's like, what the fuck? So I screaming and shit. And then I fucking just back up and I run away. You know? Like, that's crazy to say that, right? Like, to be like, what the fuck? Like, what were you doing? Now, this was like when I was in my early fucking 20s, so I don't even know what to fucking say. I'm ashamed of myself, honestly, to this day, but I still think about it on the level of extreme. Like, yeah, like I've done those like heinous things to like women on that aspect. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's always been like kind of creepy hiding with women, but like, I just blame that on the fact that it's like I'm sexually attracted to them. At the same time, I like don't, you know, I didn't know how to fucking express myself on that level. Like, I didn't know how to express myself sexually in general. You know what I'm saying? And then like when I look back on it in my life, right? Like actually, I just never did anything sexual with women. Like my whole life since I was a child has always been literally with other people of the same sex, male. And we were the same fucking age. That's another thing about it too. I was not like molested. Everybody I had sex with was literally my same fucking age. Like when I was in daycare and shit, after like preschool and shit, I remember rubbing penises with like other boys and shit. We would play karate and shit, and then like we would go back there behind. I remember we went back behind this barn, and I remember seeing this other boy sucking this boy's penis, and then like I stayed, and then like I started rubbing penises with the other guy and shit. Like, you know what I mean? I can't remember everything that happened and shit. I don't think it got too fucking crazy, but we were fucking like children, you know? Like our penises were not even hard. It was just like we're just playing with that and shit. You know what I'm saying? And it felt good to kind of just, I don't know, like, you know, wrestle around. You know what I mean? It was like stupid shit. Not like sexual. It wasn't like he was sitting there sucking his dick. It was like, you know, like motherfuckers is like, I don't know, we were playing with each other and shit. But it was kind of seen sexual, but not really. You know? It's like when you have a crush on somebody and you kind of just are like, you know, I don't know. It was like that. Like, you know, we were doing that. I remember we were like kids. Preschool type shit. Like, you know, when it was like your first set of teeth, you're like, you had that little gap and yeah, like all that shit. We were kids. And then I got older. And, you know, like you're like, what, 10 years old, 11? And it's happening again. It's a little more like a little more grown up because now you can have an erection type shit. You know what I'm saying? Type shit. So you're like, oh shit, you know? And end up like becoming more romantic, like you're guys kissing and shit. You know what I'm saying? And then like that happens, and then years go by again, and then you're like, okay, no, I'm good. Because everybody's, you know, dating with women and all that shit. You know, everybody's like basically claiming stake, like this is my girlfriend. You know what I'm saying? Even to where people are getting pregnant and, you know, type shit because you're in the hood. And so you're like, what the fuck? You know, so you kind of just chill out for like all of like high school. You know, you really ain't really doing shit. But then like, you know, maybe like in the beginning of high school, maybe like, or sometime in high school, you did some gay ass shit. And it fucking scared the shit out of you. You were like, it's where you just, that's where you learn to like literally put that shit away. You know what I mean? And so it was like on this like, okay, like I don't deal with that shit, but I deal with it. And so you live in this fake life that you don't know. And it's, you really don't know. You think that you're this way, but you're not. And so that's what I'm saying. And so you're questioning your own self now. And then you're thinking like, man, like by the time you're 17, 18, like I haven't been with a woman yet. It's getting crazy. But you're not pressured because you in your mind, you're like, you know, everybody's straight. You know? So like, you know, even your gay friends that you know they're fucking gay, or people you know from school, you know they were fucking gay. You think about it, you're like, that mother was a fag, straight up. But I didn't want to say shit. You know, I didn't want to call it. They motherfucking said they were straight. They had 2 or 3 girlfriends. But I mean, let's be honest. You know what I'm saying? That motherfucker was Medea. Like, you know. So yeah, I mean, shit like that. They made you realize, like, nah, motherfuckers was gay. So, I mean, that's what made it hard. And like by the time you get to college, you're really scared because like you're like, what the fuck? It hasn't happened. I don't know what to do. And you know, you feel like everybody else is doing it, and you feel like, why the fuck you're not? you know. And then for me, I was trying to like court this girl, and then I find out she was like a fucking school whore. And that fucked me up. And then I kind of after that, that's when I started slawing the girls. I lost all my friends, you know, because only I was an adult. And I was at a place in my life I just didn't know where to go in my life, you know. I was at a stalemate in my life, basically, you know. Like Fluky said, like where everything started to melt. Am I talking too much? Not showing no boobies.
I don't know what the stats are, but I'm sure when it comes to their clientele, it's probably a mix of men who are well established and have a family at home, and then there's just, you know, single guys who, you know, have been attracted to girls, and this is their only means of getting to meet girls. So I don't know if you took away DL culture, if it would necessarily put a huge dent in the work, because at the end of the day, they're still attractive.
Nah, the DL niggas.
Absolutely.
In mind.
Absolutely.
I think, as a man, I don't really want to speak too hard on like what women should say. I do kind of wish it would be more, instead of boycott DL men, like educate DL men, because so many men come into this lifestyle through sex or like their sexual curiosities. And if we can take them from, okay,
yeah,
like it's not wrong to come into this life through, be honest, through like porn or something like that. Mm-hmm. But we need to grow from, okay, a sexual object to a person. But if we just cut everyone off at their porn stage, we lose all the allies that could have grown. So I think that's something to think about.
Absolutely. And that, you know, that kind of leads me into, well, hold on now, I'm going to take this comment here. So Naomi Hill just threw this in. So this is OnlyFans, the form of sex work too. All genders and sexualities have a page. That is true. OnlyFans is fucking huge. And one thing, I got to make one remark before we move on. Speaking of OnlyFans, I absolutely fucking hate girls who are on dating apps to promote their OnlyFans.
Oh, that's horrible.
That's worse. I would never come on now, like
I'll be on social media though.
Find relationships or find somebody to talk to, date, like, whatever else. And you just on here trying to make a buck. Like, what? Come on, man. I just hate it.
Let me say something right quick on that, because that kind of, you know, recently I noticed, like when I would try to meet trans women on different dating platforms, it would be like a link to their Instagram or a link to their, well, now OnlyFans. Shoot, I haven't used a dating app.
But the thing about it, you have to realize is
that I'm Charlie thing, because I'm just finding out about it. You know, and I'll definitely.
A lot of women that are whores professionally, okay, understand the game, they literally still think they can have a boyfriend or a husband. You know, especially if they are making good money, you know. But that's just a profile. It's like if you're dating, I don't know, I'm trying to think of a porn star that's just like obvious. I don't know, like Pinky, right? You're dating fucking Pinky. Like, you know, you're dating Pinky. Like, it is what it is. Like, there's nothing to say, but if you're dating Pinky though, if she's not like, and so I know your whole like thing is okay, the sex part, but that's what I'm saying. Like, if you're dating Pinky, you're dating Pinky. So it's just, it is what it is, you know. You should know. But you fuck with folk, that's why you're doing that shit.
Give it a good review if I see a lot of prospects, but I think, you know, it comes down to where. And I told a trans woman this before. A lot of trans women who get into sex work start to become jaded and emotionally unavailable to where, you know, they don't really see men as more than, you know, a commodity to be, you know, profitized off of, you know, to basically say, well, he a good man and he give me this and that, so I don't care about what he do when we not together, you know. Yeah. And I think that's part of it too, you know.
Well, you know, everybody's got and us included, man, like we all got to work on ourselves to be in a position to be ready to be loved, to be ready for a real relationship. You know, that's it's definitely it's a lot of mental work, just a lot of self introspection, and not everybody's there. And whether it's sex work that takes them there, or it's bullshit, got to live my best life kind of shit that takes them there, or just takes maturity to get them there. I definitely think we all got to work on ourselves, man.
Yeah, I mean, the unfortunate truth is usually, not always, but a lot of times, it's literally like, what else am I going to do right now? It's kind of like a survival thing. So it's not as much of a choice of, hey, I'm about to do this and get jaded. It's more like the world has been kind of shit to me. And as a result, I'm doing this, which has made me ultimately jaded, if that's the case. But yeah, I'm sorry.
Well, there you go.
I see we had a comment from one of our viewers that said, she's kind of becoming jaded, but she's not in sex work. And, I mean...
worldly circumstances.
Yeah, it's just basically that,
Oh, dang, you got somebody out here? Is that your government name you're using?
Oh, no, that's my Facebook name.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. For all my Facebook friends that know me as Jules, but
it's interesting
outside in the corporate world, I'm just regular Ray. Jules is kind of like my alter ego. So when I get into Jules mode, it's like I ain't trying to hear nothing else. Whatever you saying, I'm gonna have a rebuttal for everything. That's kind of like my debate mode is Jules. So
like Jules from Pulp Fiction.
There you go. You got it, bro. You figured it out. See, everybody else don't get that reference. You get the reference. What he say? I don't remember asking you. That's my mentality.
Well, this whole sex work thing is a really kind of good segue into the term chasers. And one of the reasons why they kind of tie together for me is, a lot of guys who are, and fellas watching this, you're new to trans attraction, trans amory, all that stuff. You will learn that a lot of women will call you a chaser right off the bat. Like you're instantly, by some women, you are instantly dismissed as just some sexual freak, some porn hound, somebody who's not really about a serious relationship. You're only here for the sex, and more sex. That is a label we get a lot, and just know that is something that you have to deal with, and let it roll off your back, because a lot of times when girls are flinging those terms around, it's more about what's going on with her than you. You can be the perfect gentleman at all times. You could be that guy who's not out here doing anything crazy like that, and you still get to catch that term. You're going to catch that term no matter what you do. So really don't be upset that you're being called a chaser. It is a term that a lot of women will use to devalue guys in terms of our quality as men, our integrity. But it is sometimes a very fitting term. If you are all about, if all your conversations, if you start off conversations with trans women, sexually, you're a chaser. If all you can talk about is their bodies and sex, and you're sending them dick pics, like a bad person on some dating app, like a lot of people out there do, you're a chaser, and that's just not good. You really want to do everything you can to avoid catching that term. And fellas, I really want y'all to gin up some ideas for people here. So I'm gonna actually throw it down to Chris. And Chris, just tell us something that you think guys can do to avoid catching the label of chaser.
I think it's something you hit on, like when you're interacting with a trans woman or slight plug, when you go to the Charlie app and meet one, right? Like within the first 5 minutes, like you said, it shouldn't be a dick pic or like, what's your favorite position? Just having conversations with trans women outside of sex, like, how was your day? What are some things that like learning their struggles and things that they deal with on their day-to-day life as being a trans individual, being an ally, that's something that can eliminate it, because it shows them you care about them as a person and not just for what's between their legs. And when you care about someone's mind, their heart, instead of just like sex, like that's how you eliminate the label that you're just a chaser, in my opinion.
Amen to that. That's some good stuff right there. Fellas, watching, that's some good advice. I just got the real right there.
Well, I kind of want to say this. Don't fall for the thirst traps. It's very easy. It's so easy.
Thank you.
I think what happens is a lot of
like sometimes they be like
women,
thirst
and I
trapping
say this
themselves.
in an endearing way because I mean
They be thirst
I love
trapping
women,
themselves.
period, you know,
Like, they be
but a lot of women,
like,
especially trans women, tend to
shit,
post up
you're like, wait a minute,
sexual
stop,
provocative
nigga.
profiles whenever
What
they
the
are in social media and
that
dating.
shit
But
crazy.
you know, I just want to caution you, man. You know, just because she has on, you know, 2 pieces of clothing when you see her, don't automatically go in her inbox saying like, so what's up with it? You know, like, just don't do that. You know, like, I don't care if a girl has on a 2-piece bikini or she's dressed all the way down like in Muslim garb, you know, like a burqa, you know, no matter what the girl is wearing or how you perceive her to be loose or ready to fuck or whatever it is that you think, you got to approach every woman consistently. And when I say consistently, you got to approach every woman that you are interested in. If you're seriously interested in, now, I will say this admittedly, I will answer some thirst traps occasionally. But after having done that, I already know that I'm probably not going to make any meaningful contact. That's what I did to myself. But I usually do that with people I already know.
You know what I'm saying?
But if there's somebody that I'm actually trying to get to know, I will study her and be like, okay, well, yeah, she looks cute and she looks good in that outfit she's wearing. But what are her ambitions? What is her vision for what she wants her life to be? Does she get involved in politics? Is you know, these are things that you have to look at. You got to look at the character of a girl that you're dating. And if a girl sees that you're actually trying to get to pick her brain and know who she is, that'll usually take you out of the chaser category, you know, by some of the definitions my other brothers had brought up. But, you know, in some girls' mind, if you just openly, you know, just want to date a trans woman, you don't care about the genitalia and all that, they'll label you a chaser right then and there. But I think that's more of a self-hatred thing when you do it in that fashion. But as far as avoiding it, there are things you can do as an individual, and that's one of them.
Lex, did you want to chime in?
Yeah, the things that y'all said are very, very true. 100%. I don't even know if I have more to add to how to be a decent person. It's just a matter of that. Be a decent person. And
don't be a dick.
Yeah, you know, just don't be a dick. But the reality is, no matter what you do, I think it's impossible to not get called a chaser when you are initially talking.
It's impossible not to be called a chaser.
People are so used to
I think everybody is chasers. But
so
like,
I think that a lot of times people
I think there's
just
a difference
call you a chaser to see what you're gonna do and see how you react.
It's more like, I'm gonna say
I think that
if you're a chaser, honestly, you're probably a fucking trade. I've never seen any chaser who, you get what I'm saying? Like, they're all just trade. Even the older chasers, like, that's why they be broke as fuck and ain't shit. You know? Because they chasers, like, a player, or aka a chaser, that's what you are, a player. A player is always going to sit here and try to play the game, you know what I'm saying? And the way the game goes is you basically gaslight or love bomb the fuck out of somebody and shit, right? But you got to speak their love language. So you got to find out, like, what makes them fucking happy and who, you know what I'm saying, who's giving them love and shit, like, where do they get their reassurance from and shit socially, because humans are social creatures. So, like, they'll try to find out where you get your reassurance from. They'll try to come in that way. They'll try to come in, like, in any way they'll see shit from more fashion. That's why when I was staying here, and basically it was hot as fuck. I didn't have a fan at the time. It was July, y'all know. I had my fucking shirt off because I thought I was here. Some nigga came around here and shit started walking around here. And I quickly grabbed my shirt and put it on. But his ass came around here, snuck around the corner and shit, around that, and was like, hey. And just look at me, fucking Google, like, you know how I used to, how women used to look at me? That's how these niggas was looking at me, like. But it's more scary because they're, like, way more, like, you know, like, they're like hyenas and shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? They come all up to you and shit, like, what the fuck? And then, like, I was like, look, I told him straight up, look, I'm not really trying to do all this shit. I'm trying to be alone and shit. And this nigga was like, oh, hey, what's that right there? Like, he was like, it was just like, I was like, no, bro. Like, men are crazy. Like, I've had this, like, well, this retarded Asian dude, right? He saw me pre-transition and shit when I was working at the store. And then, like, I don't know what the fuck. This motherfucker was working at the other, I was working at another store. And then the next thing you know, he came in one day, was like, hey, I'm supposed to be working here. I'm like, oh, I saw you from another store. Okay, yeah. I don't know that much what's going on, but this is going on. So, I mean, I try to help him. And next thing you know, it's like, slowly but surely, it was like he was following me home. Like, okay, I see you on the bus, taking the bus. When I'm coming to work, I'm seeing this motherfucker taking the bus. And then I'm like, okay. You know, the last bus I take to go to work, right? And then, like, the next day I see this nigga on the fucking first bus I take to go to work. I'm like, okay, what the fuck? Are you trying to, like, follow me? And he ended up doing this shit like 2 days, like 2 whole days. I'm like seeing this nigga back to back, like after the last 2 days I was talking about. So this happened. It was like I saw him for 2 days, like 2 days on the bus, just like going. I'm like, okay, he's taking the bus, like, you know. And then the first like official day, like he started taking the bus that way. I was like, okay, is he coming into work today or something? Like, and then like after we got off the first bus, he tried to start talking to me at the bus stop, and I'm like trying to like tell him, and then like he just kept on trying to talk to me, and I was just like, okay, you know. And that shit to me is so disgusting and disrespectful, and it's always some ugly ass nigga, aka dude, man, who's fucked up, like just retarded, dumb, broke, ugly. And that's what I was trying to say to you. Like, it's crazy how, statistically speaking, right, scientifically and statistically speaking, men that are fucked up in life, whatever, I don't give a fuck how fucked up they're fucked up in life, are more attracted to fat, dark skinned, you get what I'm saying, women. They're attracted to us, and it's like, it's fucking disgusting. You know, it just, scientifically speaking, I don't want to go into all the details, but you can kind of guess what the fuck they are, you know? Shit, let's give us a like and shit. Goddamn. But yeah, shit, I'm just kind of freestyling real quick. I gotta say what I had to say about that. It's just like, motherfuckers gonna be out here doing all this shit. Let's continue on the video.
As a man who wants to be in a situation where you might potentially be growing a situation or growing a relationship with a trans person,
I remember asking this girl, a trans girl, like, how can you not be a chaser? And shit, there's no way you can not be a chaser. Like, the only way you can not be a chaser is just if you treat them like regular people. Or if you are a chaser or a player, you just got to come with the shit because you have to understand what you're dealing with. Like, trans girls get hit up like that all the time for like that type of shit. So we got motherfuckers coming. So if you're just trying to fuck and shit, like, it is what it is. Like, you know, you have to do what you have to do. I don't know why, like, it's just weird. Like, it's just weird how men don't want to like work on themselves at all. You know what I mean? Sometimes, you know, that's why I feel like in the gay community it's better because like with the men they look more better. You know, the men look better and shit. They try harder to do something. They always accomplish at least something. They have the money, they have the body. But with straight guys, they're just fucking retarded. It's like they just come out here it's just it's like all in here. They all think like I'm fucking the shit. They all think they're the shit. They all think they're all Donald Trump or some shit. Like they all think that they're motherfucking that motherfucker, you know? And it's like dumb. Like this motherfucker, oh, why aren't you wearing a suit? Y'all remember that shit politically. I'm just saying I have to go there for a second. Motherfucker, Ukraine president was wearing a suit. Hey, why are you wearing a suit? And he's like, because people are about war right now, so I'm wearing the same thing they're wearing and shit. We're all one. Man, fuck that shit. You're not at war. They're at war. You know? Like, so what? It's because you want them to think that they're you. You know? You're not. Anyway. It just make a lot of things more obvious in certain situations. But people don't understand that, you know? I feel a lot of fucking Africans don't understand everything. This is how this be a black man in America. Anyways, Shit. But yeah, that's all I got to say about that. It's just like I feel like a lot of the guys are like, you know what I mean? But let me just go into a whole story about it since we got people here. So it's like literally fucking like I didn't like the fact that yesterday was so crazy. Like I feel like this is I think I have to make a step. I'm gonna tell a story, but I'm gonna real quick brief over it. I just feel like this motherfucker is a chaser because every time, and it's funny because I did the same shit. You get all the, but I don't think I ever did that. I think the first time I felt, I said this trans woman, I fucking treated her, you know, I saw how beautiful she was, and I just started smiling and shit. I was like, hey, how you doing? And shit. And that was it. You know? And it's because we were coworkers. Like, that was it. But, like, you know, what the fuck? It's always like that, you know? It's always like that. So, I mean, I don't know. Like, I didn't really do anything like until like it became awkward to like them. You know? When you felt like people can come for you or whatever, so you gotta deal with that shit. You gotta look around the corner every time. You ain't feel like dealing with that shit. So that was kind of the reason why a lot of people like hate trans people too and shit. You know? They act like the way they act like about that. But it's just not good. It's not healthy. It's really awkward. You know? Like, and so the thing about coming to a trans girl and shit, you have to fucking just be with it. You cannot be afraid to be seen with her. Because she's not afraid to be seen with her. Like, you have to understand how weird that shit is. Like, you know how weird it is if you were a guy to not want to be seen? Like, psychologically, it's like, yeah, you know, it's imagine being a white girl. No, imagine being a black girl. Let's see this way, because, you know, in a fucking, like, back in, like, slavery days when you had your papers and shit, and you, like, right on the borderline or some shit or some shit like that. I don't know, right? And, like, you know, there's tension and shit, like, type shit, motherfuckers is they be hating and shit. Like, you know, it's like KKK members can come through, type shit, or whatever. I don't know, right? You know you're in a town that's bad. Let's say it's like you're in a fucking slavery just ended and shit. You're in a fucking free slave in a fucking racist ass fucking town. Like you like a low percentage of like a black girl and shit. Like what the fuck, you know what I'm saying? Like and a white guy is like, oh, I like black people and shit. Like what the fuck, you know what I'm saying? Like you're gonna be like, nigga, please. Like I walk through the streets every day. Like what the fuck, you know? Like are you kidding me? Like that's just crazy. You're fucking white. It's like get your shit together. You want to do this shit or not? Like real shit, you know? And you like that life, you like that life. You're not. Like get the fuck out of here. You know? And I think it's because they just want to hold on to what being a straight guy is, you know? And that's like lame. That's lame as fuck. Because you don't know why they're doing that shit. Is it because they're gay? Is it because they just got sexual for you? Is it because they're like queer? Are they queer sexual? Like they have a sexuality to trans and queer people? Like, what is it? Bisexual? It's crazy how every time I always get bit by bugs in the morning. It's just not even work. It's probably because of socks and so let's continue.
It's incredibly necessary to be able to have a skin that is thick enough to not give a shit that somebody is calling you a little name, especially if you know that's not who you are. So I think the best way to not be called a chaser is to not give a shit if you're called a chaser and to prove that you are not one. Because if you eventually start to do some chaser stuff, then she's right. And if you are a good guy and you are, you know, different.
I mean,
like
the creepy vibes is like, whatever, yeah, they just come all up in your fucking space.
You know, really
they come all up in your space, and you're just like, yo, what the fuck? Like,
realize that,
What is that shit? And it's like they feel like, oh my god, I found a trans, and then they try to fucking come all up in your space, and it's like they don't say shit. They do it for no reason. Like I literally got Walgreens and they did that shit. You work there, and it's like, damn, can I shop? Like what the fuck's going on? And every time I went to another house, like motherfucker was like
metal detector.
Clearly just like staring you down, like
it's like, okay, this is why we have
hard, like it's just it's creepy. It's like following you. You're like, okay, bro, like just fuck off, you know? Like what the fuck is this shit?
Sticks and stones. You know?
You're fucking weird, you know?
Person of character.
You're being fucking weird.
Shows her that you are there for
You're
her.
being that's really fucking weird, bro.
What some other
like
guys
fuck off. I don't give a shit.
I want to say something real quick, Lex, on that.
You know, that's what
it's like the difference between whether you have a belt buckle and some loose change versus if you're carrying a desert
shit and they see that shit. I'm not the type of person that do that shit.
That's clearly a shank.
I don't live in the reality that you guys think women are weak. I never.
Well, you know what's interesting about
you know what I'm saying? I grew up with fucking older sister.
I think the thing with how often I hear it
I don't live in that reality. Who was raised by my older brother?
Where I see it used the most.
Like we're being raised on Beyond Ironside and shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like daughter of Beyond Ironside,
trans women and trans men and allies and all that stuff. The term chaser is used a lot more from the white side of things. Like they use it a lot more in.
Not crazy.
I guess I've just experienced a lot more. I don't know, confusion, frustration with the very concept of being trans-amorous from a lot of the white side, people on the white side. They think, you know, if you're only interested in just trans people, then there's something wrong with you, and you're being a chaser, and you're being fetishy. That sounds, you know, and it's funny because with my other podcast that I do. You know, we get a lot of response from the white side,
and I think the reason why is because a lot of us don't see ourselves honestly as trans. You know what I'm saying? We talk to each other as trans women, right? To relate to each other and to have like a good like scientific base, right, for like what we dealing with, and so we can fucking talk about our findings and shit. But even how we talk about our findings is really correlated with how women are. And when you like actually watch like women talk about the same fucking findings type shit, it's interesting because it's like it goes deeper because then you can like relate and it's crazy because of how linguistics work, right? Science actually uses the way we speak to each other about science, right? When we find our finding, because science is like a scientific, it's a constant base, right? When science, right, is constant, it's the same shit we all understand and know. But when you're linguistically explaining that shit to humans or your colleagues to come to like the final conditions of it, like to say like, okay, this is valid, everybody agrees in the scientific community and shit, that's when it's like you have to verbalize it and shit. And when you verbalize it, there's certain linguistic words that you say that relate to people socially. You get what I'm saying? So it can make sense. And that's where sometimes things get lost in translation and shit. So
it's my other podcast that I do. You know, I get a lot of we get a lot of response from the white side, and you know, I've seen people on Twitter like, "Oh, trans-amory," like that term makes me just cringe as a whole. And like it's very interesting the different, I guess how each community views trans-amorous men, because I haven't seen that much hate at just the very concept of trans-amory from Black trans women.
Yeah, because it's like they don't think that you can like the same women, or like, why do you like trans women only and whatnot, you know? And that's what I'm saying. It's because, like I said before, like when you actually are a trans woman and you actually look at you talk to other trans women about what's going on with you, right? The reason why doctors can't fucking explain that shit is because they're looking at you from a male's perspective. And then when you literally go watch women, right? Like you go on women's TikTok and look up things about what's going on with women and their health, and they just on some relatable shit, you understand that shit too. and you're like on the same time as them, and it's crazy. You know, it's almost kind of like estrogen is like the fucking internal fucking sink, the water snake of the fucking goddamn globe. You know what I'm saying? When they say it's God and shit. You know what I'm saying? That's crazy. Because I literally be saying, I be like, bro, going, hey, you're trans. I know it's crazy. Fuck, you're trans. Go on, motherfucking, go on that shit. Go on TikTok shit. And just look at some shit, like, you're gonna be like, what the fuck? Like, it's like the same shit as your shit. You're gonna be feeling like, but you don't know how to describe it because they're gonna say, like, oh, da, 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 and it's all coming from their ovaries. That is where the estrogen is coming from. That's where we get our estrogen from. So it's crazy because their body, because they have ovaries, is a estrogen dominant body. But when we take our hormones, we make our bodies an estrogen dominant body, and we're human. And so there's no cutting away from that. And so it affects our bodies and how long we stay on those hormones, right? Or our hormone levels, or let's say how long we stay, or our hormone levels stay at that level. You know, that's really what's going to, you know, allow us to have those same responses and whatnot. So that's why it's like, but we don't have the language to describe it because they still want to look at us as trans women. You get what I'm saying? Or as, that's why we want to be seen as women so much because of the fact that it's like we are women. You know? It's just like, but we are old, but we like, you know, we've been men, you know? Like once your body, doesn't matter if we were born male, we can literally turn into women. You know what I'm saying? That's all it is at the end of the day. And so we are women. Yeah. But it is what it is. The thing about why cis women don't agree because we were not raised as girls. We were raised as boys. You know what I'm saying? So we see a lot of the contradiction because, you know, like I said before, all this, like, boy, it's funny because boys, it's not always an effect. If y'all saw Sinners, I've seen this little clip. My friend was calling them boys, you know, he was telling them the place, and it was like, okay, like, seeing boys not always a bad thing, you know, it's some country thing. You know, I need some people, probably, it's anytime men want to relate in a boyhood way, like anything to do with boyhood, you know, just like girls saying about girlhood. It's just that girls relate to girlhood more because of dynamics of things, you know, men thinking that being a man is like, you know, the holy grail. So it's like, you know, they're all out there trying to be this hardcore man, but like, you know, you can still be a girl for a very long time, but a man doesn't have a choice necessarily to be a man or not, you know, so it's the whole dynamic and whatnot. So, you know, that's why a lot of women use the word girl. You know, so when they see you as a trans woman, they don't know if you were a girl or not. You know, they don't know how girl you were. You know, and so that becomes a problem. You know, so a lot of us trans women that, you know, come out later in life, for whatever reason, it's like, you know, we're not girly. You know, some of us are all faggy. You can tell. You know, like Laverne. Let's be honest. You know. Let's be honest. I'm just saying. Some of us are a little faggy like Laverne. You know, some of us are a little bit more, you know, gay boyish, like T.S. Madison, like, you know what I'm saying, Lips Queenish. You know, that's what you see. Like, like I'm not gonna lie. Like, watching both content, like being both fans, like from since jump. You know, I'm not gonna lie. I watched a lot of T.S. Madison porn. That's what kind of made me want to come out too. Seeing a thick black fucking trans woman and shit, dark skin and shit, just doing her and shit, fucking getting fucked. I ain't gonna lie and shit. You know what I mean? I used to watch her porn shit. Her porn shit's still out there too. Shit. They don't even want to fucking. If I bring up that shit, they'd be like, "What in the fuck?" And it's crazy because I remember showing my friend that shit a long time ago. Her porn was when she was doing the porn. I remember like waiting for her porn to come out. Like, damn, she'll make another video. Like, I literally remember that shit. Like, I was watching her porn videos. Like she was making them hoes like for a good minute. For like 2 years, I was watching them hoes. So imagine like and I was watching the previews of a little bitch. But like imagine like you bought her content and all that shit. Like she was making money. That's what got her fame. Nobody want to say that. She never talks about that shit like ever. Like that shit's completely shut off from her shit. And I'm like sitting here looking like I was a chaser, literally watching and buying your content and shit. Like, and I know that these niggas know watching and buying content. Like that shit was nice. That shit was a whole like it's what niggas wanted. Like for real, like that shit was the shit. I ain't gonna lie to you. Like it's still the shit. And it's just like what the fuck, like to see her like famous and like in fucking TLC on TLC and shit with on the show fucking I Am Jasmine and shit. I'm looking like, are you kidding me? They got a fucking black porn star on this bitch. And does anybody even know? And I know people know. I'm not stupid. I know people are like, hell no. Nah. That's what I feel like it's making it worse. That's why I was like, I feel like I feel like white motherfucking media makes black trans women look really bad. Anyways. So that's what I'm saying. Like change is just.
But when I go into white areas and I see a lot of white trans women in there, it's really interesting to see how the communities react differently, just to the very concept of us. And guys out there, that's just my experience. By all means, comment and let us know if you're seeing something different. But it's really, I just really wanted to bring that up because it was just like, it is literally black and white.
I want to say that's the first time I've ever heard that. I mean, unfortunately, in my circles, which is mostly black and brown people, I really haven't heard much from the white side in terms of what that word means. But I mean, I can say from the black side, it kind of is a term that is synonymous with, these men only want us because we got that special thing and they'll never be happy with a cisgender woman. So, they come to us and it's weird. I think really, honestly,
in the black community, they do that shit. Like they think like, the whole replacing shit. They really do believe that shit. It's only in the black community they think that fucking trans women are going to replace them. That shit is nuts. That is crazy. It's a bitch that can't keep a man. She knows she can't keep a man. She's just scared like, oh hell no, they're gonna get a tranny bitch instead. They crazy.
It just comes from a form of self-hatred, in my opinion. And that's just my humble opinion. Anytime, a woman just loosely throws that term out to call you a chase. Now, of course, we've mentioned a few things that can,
I don't loosely do that shit,
a few actions and a few character traits that can put you in that category. But
I mean,
you're just loosely
look. You're a chaser because you're a player. A chaser's a player. Let me tell you what a player is. Like if a guy likes fat white women, you know what I'm saying? Or if a black guy likes white women, right? You know what I'm saying? He's gonna go after white girls. Like I'm not even trying to hold. I don't know how to say this shit, but I'm saying this shit. I went to a black college, and one of my homies, my best friends, probably to this day, I guarantee he probably wouldn't like me because I'm trans and all that shit now, but I don't know, right? But so this motherfucker, I remember him telling me that we went to a black school. He's half Hispanic, half black, whatever, but he's like living in a black neighborhood. His father's black, you know how it is. So he literally telling me he only date white girls. I'm like, we had a black school. The only girl he had a crush on to say some shit or try to fuck and shit was 2 light-skinned girls. The first girl was this tall-ass light-skinned girl, and this the other girl was super light-skinned. I mean, she was like almost looked like she was lighter than him. You know what I'm saying? Type shit. You have Hispanic. So I was like, what the fuck? He looked like a nigga though. Kind of like a light-skinned nigga. So it was kind of like, what the fuck? I was like, what the fuck? That shit fucked me up. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm like, you like white girls like that? Like, it's crazy. So it's the same shit. It's like if a guy was like told you like, yeah, I was that nigga. My niggas were rude, but they're not my niggas. You know what I'm saying? They were half black, but still, you know what I'm saying? They're my niggas. You know what I'm saying? Like they were half white, half black. But you know what I'm saying? Like high school niggas out. So I was fucking with them, talking to hang out with them. I was still dying on that shit, and it was like, I was like, shit. I told them one day I just came out to them and shit. I came out to them as I think I came out to them as gay. I think I came out to them as gay, honestly. I think I told them niggas like straight up I was gay, and they didn't believe me though. They like laughing and shit about it and shit. And then I told them niggas that like I was like, and then like after a while we let that shit slide, we were still like, you know what I'm saying, but you like women though, you know what I'm saying. I told them I still like women though, some shit. I didn't tell them that shit. I just told them I was gay. Like, I really am gay though. I told them I really am gay. I remember telling him that shit. And then I remember like he'd be smiling by whatever, commenting by. And then I remember like at that point I was into trans women only. I really wasn't into dudes. Like I just wasn't into dudes. I was more into trans women. I think it's because at the time I was still watching straight porn and shit, and so like I had to watch trans porn. But I couldn't watch gay porn. It was like too gay. It was like I'm not into like dudes, you know. And so like my mind was still kind of on some like, oh, I'm on with the trans woman type shit, right? And so like I told my friends that shit. I was that type of guy where I was like, oh man, like honestly, I was like, shit. I told them niggas like, yeah, I mean, I like trans girls and shit. You know what I'm saying? Da, da, da. I weren't telling them niggas that shit, showing them pictures and shit. I'm like, she fine as hell. Da, da, da. Like, I was into trans girls. And then, like, as quickly after that, that's when I was like, what if I change to a trans girl and shit? And these niggas were like, nah, bro, change. You know what I mean? And I think time went by, some hormones and shit, and then they were like, oh, wait a minute, he probably did some hormones because he don't look the same. And like, you know, I don't know. But anyways. Yeah, so like chasers and shit.
Throwing that out,
you know? It's like you're trying to talk to a fucking girl that you like. It is what it is. Like I was that same way too when I saw my first trans girl type shit, like my first new job and shit in the restaurant, and I pretty much got pushed back in the closet at the time. They hired a fucking white girl, trans girl, she was in that hoe. And like, you know what I'm saying? Damn, like, you know what I mean? So it was fucking sad. And it was fucking sad because she's white, you know what I'm saying? So like she had more privilege to do that shit, but the black and Hispanic ones, we didn't have the privilege. So we were angry. And you know, I don't know. It's so sad. So I mean, it is what it is. I feel like, you know, when it comes to dating and all that shit, like, yeah, I don't know. It's really awkward, you know. They just think you're so stupid and everything. It's crazy, crazy. I know. It's just hard. Because like, that's all they want to do, you know. It's like, it's not about the sex, it's not about all that shit. What it's really about is just like, they want you because you're trans, but like they don't really like it's like liking like I said, like white girls, but like what kind of white girl? You know, like you have to kind of know what you want. Like, you know, not every trans girl is fucking for you. You know. Like, I have a deep voice, and I really don't feel like changing my voice either. I feel like my voice is like right where it needs to be. You know? Like, I feel like my voice is good for what I am. You know? I can do some voice training, and I feel like maybe I should. When I feel like I get to that point where it's like I look so much like a girl, it would really help. But I don't feel like it matters right now. You know, we don't feel like it matters right now. But let's go ahead and finish.
A man who's open about being with you, or maybe maybe in the last 5-10 years he's only dated trans women, so that makes him a chaser. You're putting him in that category because you feel like, I guess, any decent man wouldn't relegate themselves to only trans women, and that's coming from trans women.
Well, you're a chaser because you're trans,
but you know, I definitely don't agree, and I don't subscribe to that thought, but That's just my
Black
opinion.
women don't have a name for you. We have a name for you called Trey. We call you Trey.
Well, something else.
You become
I
a
guess in this realm,
man is when you're probably in your 30s,
guys, and this is a show that's
you have money,
educating for the young guys out there, the new guys in the game. Fellas, just know if you're coming into this life of, being trans and dating trans women,
and so, like,
understand that you will have to bear the stigma of the worst of us.
Because it's really awkward.
All the shitty things that guys do out there, it's going to get put on you. And just know that
that's the only way
all you can do is just be a good person each and every day. Kind of like we talked about with before, with just working your way out of it. You're never going to work your way out of it. All you can do is just be a good person. And,
that's what I'm saying. Like,
no matter what the women say to you, no matter how they act to you, just be a gentleman. Don't, because the last thing you want is for you to be going back and forth with a lot of ladies. And I've seen some guys out there who are stupid enough to do that on social media. They go back and forth and argue with girls over all sorts of craziness.
Exactly.
And then, honestly, they just come off as like bitter, angry dudes. And it's just like, dude, you're not helping yourself here. Just stop. Yeah. But, I think that's just sound advice. Just be a gentleman no matter what.
But, like, a fucking contracted man is going to be like...
anybody, I had something else to say, but I want to give the other fellas a chance.
Let's address this comment real quick.
That's crazy, but I've heard that.
I saw a comment that...
girls that were just dudes and then, like,
so, let's see here. A lot of black trans women want a DL. Man, for some reason, instead of someone who is living in their truth. Well,
that's my good friend Naomi Hill, by the way.
Shout out to Naomi. I appreciate you.
Shout out Miss Naomi.
Yeah, appreciate you on this one. She's speaking the truth.
That's what being
I feel like that's
true. So why y'all think that is?
Just being another person.
I think it's a very interesting insight because I don't know if I can 100% confidently say that black trans women would prefer a guy who's not living his truth if there were a bunch of guys visibly living their truth and just doing it like that. I think that most people probably would obviously be like, yeah, I want somebody who's not still having shame possibly or having fear or, might kill me. But I feel like because there's so many guys who are DL, it's almost as if, and this is the way I see it. It's like because you are DL, it means that you view your masculinity in a way that is traditional, and you don't want to lose that, and that is so important to you. So you must be this actual, real, traditional man. And
exactly, I've been told by men.
It's DL.
And I remember, like, when I was first transitioning and shit, and this guy, I don't know, man, he's in prison. I don't know, prison niggas, right? So I did that prison nigga shit to me. Like, he didn't know I'm not that woman. I'm Xena, bitch. Like, I'm literally not. I'm Xena, the warrior princess. Are you kidding me? I'm Olaf the Beowulf, son of the War Raven, and I am his vengeance. Always have it on me. So I forget. Just what? It's done. It's done. You already did. It's in your eye. It's in your eyes. Or if I don't want to fucking kill you, shoot with the hammer. If I want to start punching the fuck out of your face and going crazy. Ah! 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 If I really want to get you, how you want to go? How you want to do this? But seriously though, yeah, I'm rough on the parent. Fourth wave feminism happened because of women changing the gender norm, and traditional men feel like with an attack on them because they only attack non-traditional women. That's cool.
Chaser, but it's more trade is a word that is used very often.
Trade.
Tell them what it is. Now we got to inform the people out here. The fellas, I didn't know what trade was when I first got in this. I was like, Drake, what the fuck are you calling me?
And you know what's funny? When I was living as a teenager in New Orleans, I used to hear a lot of cisgender women refer to men as trade. So I don't even think it started in the trans community. I'm at least, and I'm thinking back, 2003, 2004?
Shopping shit. Yeah, 2004, yeah.
Girls in high school.
It was like high school and shit, yeah. 2004.
Or whatever.
I heard in beauty shop, I think.
Teenage girls, you know, and then not until later that it became more of a trans
and then he was like,
LGBT type
of he's from the whole neighborhood.
Terminology, but basically, with respect to the DL culture, you know, I think what Naomi is saying, a lot of women want DL men. This is what I really think they want. I think a lot of women want a man that's going to they want a man that's going to make them feel normal in some way. So it's a weird kind of thing. From what I understand, it's like a lot of women almost want a man who likes them, but hates the fact that he likes them. But at the same time, because they're special to him, he will make that exception for them. And I may be wrong because I got a lot of ladies watching me. Hey, if I say anything that's not right, y'all put me in my place, please, because I don't want to speak on nothing I don't know on. But what I do believe is that a lot of women feel that they want a man that's not gonna put them on a pedestal in one way or another. It's like, I feel like as trans amorous men, sometimes a lot of the girls feel like we put them on a pedestal.
Yeah, it can seem like a fetish. It can seem that way. And it's fortunate we have to bear that brunt. Yeah. But it can't seem like that. In the same way that us as black men, if I meet a white woman who says, I love black guys, she could be the most genuine and the realest, like, not a piece of crap kind of girl, but just because she's saying, I love black guys, now I have an image of her that makes me feel like, do you like me or do you like that I'm black? And I feel like, you know, trans people probably have the same kind of feeling where it's like, okay, do you like me? Or do you like me or do you like the fact that I'm trans? So I think a lot of times trade, to explain that term, the most simple thing is basically like a guy who is not.
Because if they want somebody who's trans, just get a processor. Hey, that's what you're really attracted to. There are two processors. Who like girls? Get a processor.
Perceivably, somebody who would be sleeping with people who are trans or even sometimes sleeping with gay men. So in the daylight, he's basically a guy that is like all the other guys, but, you know, at night he is willing to sleep with people in the LGBT community. So I feel like a lot of those guys can be very masculine in the sense of that, like you said, Ray, they will feel like this guy is choosing me because I am so whatever that I am, whether it be pretty or whether it be good at sex or whether it be whatever it is. It's like you're choosing me instead of you just liking anybody with a wig on, you know, because you just like trans or whatever that means. So it can feel like
I'm special.
Masculine dude chooses me and then he's laying with me, and it's like the same excitement on the other side that DL guys get from being with trans women, where it's like, yo, this is like not supposed to happen but it is happening, and it's like this mutual dark excitement that I feel like is very unhealthy.
Dark excitement. I like that term. Yeah. We're gonna have to use that. That keep that in your mental Rolodex. Dark excitement, because I'm here for it. As far as like explaining it.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, oh no, she married. Okay. Never wanted to be in a relationship with a DL man. That's why it's important to lay out your standards of expectations from the beginning. True. She says, my husband and I were open at the beginning. And, that mean, fellas, I don't know. Life has been a lot less stressful for me. Just telling the truth. It just being real. Instead of trying to keep up walls and hide and stress out and worry about who's looking and who's thinking about whatever else. Like, life is really just easier that way. Like, it is so much easier. So, here's another point that I just wanted to drive home before we get out of here, because we've been here for a minute and I appreciate y'all taking out the time. But, fellas, if you do everything we say to do and you are a good guy day in and day out, guess what? The women still don't owe you shit. They don't. Smart. There are guys out there that get upset. Well, these women need to get together. They need to do this and that, and they're upset and bitter because things aren't working out for them, even though they're trying to follow the rules and be a good guy. And it's just like, but they don't owe you that shit. Like, nobody owes you at all. Okay? All you can do is just be the best you can be a good person, and just see what happens. But you can't be walking around here like, well, I'm doing it right, and these girls need to give me something. Like, ain't nobody giving me nothing. This is some bullshit. Like,
men in general think like that. That's what the red pill is. It's all shit is. And it's like, please guy talk. It's not guy talk. That's a healthy shit. There's actually 2 toxic ass dudes. Right? Why are you toxic? Insecurities, inadequacies trying to come up. It's like 2 broke niggas trying to figure out how to rob somebody.
Like, no.
Yeah, you must not be doing it right there.
There you go.
I just want to say this. It's like you hit the nail on the head with that, because I could say personally, I went through those moments. It's like I'm doing everything right. I think I'm doing everything right. I'm presenting myself in a way that I would think any woman would, respect me. But, I still get picked over, and it's the sad truth of it. And one of the things I think a lot of men that bring them DL is that, what's worse than having an attractive trans woman that you like, that you want to be with, is being rejected by a trans woman, and then coming out openly, and then, now you have to walk around with that shame that you got rejected by a trans woman. And I don't think a lot of men.
I got rejected. I quit my job.
And take that. So I guess as we're wrapping this up, if I don't say anything else in this podcast, I want to at least say for the fellas out there, just like the girls are going through a transition, you have to go through a transition mentally, because you're not going to be all there when you first start. When you first start out, because I had to figure some things out in the beginning. I had to, thicken my skin. I had to take into account, like, I may lose friends over this, but if I do, they wasn't my friends in the first place. So you have to re-examine your life. If you find yourself in this wonderful world we are in, then you have to just take all the factors in and just think like, either you are ready to do this or you're not. And it took me probably about 5 or 6 years before, I just openly said that I was dating trans women. And it wasn't that I was actively, hiding it. It was just that, in the public platforms that I would often, use, I didn't really say much about it, or it was just something I did in my private life, but it wasn't anything I went out of my way to say, you better not tell nobody, or, anything like that. Like those guys, that kill the girls and probably have intention to kill the girls, they have this mentality like your boy from Color Purple. You better not never tell nobody but God. You know, it's like they're just so protective of that masculinity. It's toxic, you know. But that's all I'll say for now.
Yeah, no, it's really there is so much anger and hate out there, and it's just like where does it come from? I don't know where it. I can't tell. Like ladies watching this, I can't tell you where it comes from. I mean, because that hate, that leads.
I was like, he was like, how you been?
Murder, trans woman.
I was like, yeah, I've been all right.
It's just like
I've been good.
What the fuck? There is
you don't talk to each other. You just come up and hover over me like Helga Pataki on some shit.
I think a lot of it comes from the.
Is Helga Pataki trans? And then like, you know what I'm saying? But your eyebrows, I don't know. Anyways. But then like, you know, I'm like, okay, like, then he gets angry. I'm not using my own little sexy voice. And I have a beard now. I don't give a fuck. I'm just here to fucking get some water. I need water to fucking drink. What the fuck? Human being. I need to eat. Human being. If I get just in here. Okay. Did you want to get all the shit? The shit that I'm putting up on the shit from the scam? Like, yes. Like, what the fuck? Dumbass nigga? Like, yes, nigga. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and you think he thinks I owe him shit. Oh, I acknowledge that you were a girl. You're supposed to give me some play. You're supposed to be fucking like entertaining me and shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, I'm not trying to entertain you, nigga. You look like you're in your early 20s. Like, what the fuck? Like, retarded shit. You know? That's what I'm saying. Like, imagine, like, these niggas know. It's weird.
They are so attractive. And this is why it's very important for guys to deal with that shadow thing.
I know, that's why I completely hate Mexicans now. Like, I don't like Mexican niggas at all. They disgust me.
Yeah, the shame of it.
Because I some Hispanic girls don't like
attracted to a person.
Like Hispanic guys. They like white guys. I'm sorry, black guys and shit. Because it's like, I'd rather be with a white guy or a black guy. I would never be with an Asian or Hispanic.
Excitement. They feel like
the waitress had Cheryl over their women.
Being somebody that might be open to ridicule, that if their homeboys found out about it, they might be on the receiving end of the violence. So they're going in this circle where they have this shame with this person that they are attracted to, and they feel more ashamed afterwards. And it's like,
exactly.
Because they don't deal with that shame, or they don't deal with that, like their own mental blockage. It just gets to a point where it's just so dark. And then something happens where they might feel like they're going to get found out and they just lose it. So it's not healthy for anybody to be in a state where they're basically lying to themselves. Like, it feels just great to talk about it with anybody. Like, if that's one thing that I can say is to find one person that you can talk about. Like, it might not even be somebody that you're super close with, but you can talk to anybody. It could be on the internet. A lot of guys reach out. I know guys reach out to Chris. A lot of guys reach out to me. I'm sure guys reach out to both of you as well. Like, I talk to guys all the time who feel like they've never been able to talk to somebody, and just to be able to talk about it to anybody is like really like the first breath of fresh air that you like ever took. So it's a really important thing to just find some outlet because it can get dark if you don't do something.
Hey man, and I want to shout out to my man Eric. I don't know if he's watching this or not, but you know, that was my very first friend in this, and that was my breath of fresh air. And with that first friend, that first connection, it really gave me a lot more confidence to continue to step forward, to continue to, you know, open my life up to being trans women, and just living and accepting it and growing mentally. It was really a huge part of it. And, you know, I'm sorry, Chris, it looked like you was about to break in there, man. I just had to get that out. Just Shout out to my man.
I was talking to someone on camera. But if I can make a closing statement, like not to go full FDR, but the only thing we have to fear is fear itself. And that's really true. Like, we can create our own realities, people. If someone doesn't fuck with you because you like trans women, they didn't really fuck with you. Like, create your own reality. And in that reality, have people that support what you do. Like, we don't have to be trying to please people that we have to be fake for. And if we keep that, be strong inside and like don't be fearful, it will cure like a lot of shit that's going on.
Man. All right. Well, I guess we're just gonna wrap this on now. So we got thank my man Ray for coming through. Lex,
having me.
Tell them where they can find you, man.